Hey everybody, it's time for our book club chat. We're going to be discussing Somewhere Beyond the Sea. I keep wanting to call it the Cerulean Sea. Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. This is the sequel to The House on the Cerulean Sea. So I know you said you just read the first book like a month ago, right?
Yeah,
So
I read it in like February, yeah.
Yeah, you're newer to it. So what did you think? I really enjoyed this.
So I have mixed feelings because I loved the first one. Like the first one was a solid, like 5-star, I
Yeah.
thought the epitome of cozy fantasy esque-ness. This one, I listened to it. That's another thing. I didn't read this one, the paper copy, but I don't know, it didn't hit for me. Like I loved seeing it from Arthur's point of view. I loved the introduction of the new character, but I felt like it was a little bit preachy for me. Like this one.
I agree. I understand why, and I think I was in the right headspace for it in the moment because I've read other things that were preachy like this that I just didn't like.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I agree though. It did get very heavy-handed.
Yeah, like I went into it with really high expectations too, which is always a bad thing. But like I thought it started out really strong. I loved the opening scenes. I loved the whole confrontation at, Dykemy and the hearing and all of that. I wish we had gotten more of backstory when he was delivering it to them at the hearing.
Yeah.
And that's something that lingered with me the whole time. Like I felt like coming from Arthur's perspective, I wanted to know more of his backstory. Even the stuff that they talked about at the hearing, like that he had helped, like hide other magical beings and things like that.
I mean, I almost want a prequel more than I wanted a sequel.
Yeah, exactly. So I felt like disappointed that none of that was coming. And also, I mean, I can talk on. So what was your take on it?
I really enjoyed the banter with the kids. I think that's the best part of it for me is just like them being together and how they relate to each other and watching Sal kind of come into himself and grow up and watching David integrate into the family. Like all of that made the whole book for me. And I think I was willing to like overlook some of the like preachier stuff because I enjoyed that so much. So this still got a 5-star for me because of how much I love these characters. And I was just happy to be spending time with them.
I wanted to know more though about like, how he would integrate in the family. And there didn't seem to be any pushback to having a new member, which I think is a pretty normal feeling, like I think this idea at the very beginning, you had Lucy's issue with, having been told one thing about this word monster and, having a new member of the family have another thing told to them. But that I feel like didn't really get resolved, like it didn't really, after that initial discussion, there was no more scenes about how that interplay might cause like a feeling of tension. I don't know. Like I was left with lots of things. I read the epilogue too, like not the epilogue, the reader's note at the end, where he talked about his beta readers who like cut out a bunch of the story, like which is every beta reader's job. But I was like, maybe there was things cut out that I wanted there, like these scenes between the children and like any kind of.
I can see that.
That was my feeling. Like I felt like certain things that I really wanted from the sequel were missing. So it left me with like a feeling by the end, like I kept waiting for that same thing. And I love Linus, and like I felt like I didn't get enough of Linus, and like
that is a good point. I do feel like Linus kind of got overlooked in this one, and I can understand that he had the bulk of the first book, so maybe he wanted to focus on other characters. But yeah, I would have enjoyed more Linus.
Yeah, I love that we got to see more of Zoe though, and her whole.
I loved her story at the end. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot.
That was awesome. Yeah, the book really ended up where I wanted. I mean, like, I didn't have like dissatisfaction with any part of the plot line, really. It was more just, I think I was missing out on things that I wanted to see very badly, you know?
Yeah,
So, but
I can see that.
I mean, whose story arc did you appreciate the most?
I think I'm gonna say Arthur, just because I really liked seeing how he was kind of growing over the course of the two books and
Yeah.
becoming more comfortable with himself. Because
Mhm.
I think he had internalized so much of the trauma and like so much of like the hate for what he is, and getting to see him open up and flying around and like being the phoenix that he is. I think that was my favorite part of the book.
Yeah, and like I mean, spoiler, but like, everyone's read this book, right? When they get married and
Mhm.
like he's so overwhelmed by seeing all the people there,
Mhm.
magical and non-magical.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought they did the epilogue was fun. I mean, everything I wanted. So
Yeah. Same. And I really love too just like the island itself and how much that had changed over the two books, and
yeah.
becoming such a great refuge for all the magical beings. Like that was awesome. I loved that.
But now it's a peninsula. Even the symbolism of that was great.
Yeah.
It no longer needs to be an island.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly just felt like I wanted more from the character stories, and I wanted more of that arc, and I wanted more tension. Like it all seemed to just go fine. Oh, and my other big pet peeve was the Miss Marblemaw.
Marblemont. Yeah.
Marblemaw, yeah. Like I really had hopes of her having some sort of key part to play, like especially when like she shows these like she seems like a terrible person, but she shows these signs, right? Even in the phone
Yeah.
call, with her
Mhm.
superiors, like of like resistance to that. So I thought maybe she would have something to do with like some sort of ultimate confrontation and like not saving them, but like definitely coming over to their side. And so
Yeah, I did think that too. I really thought they were setting her up for something, and that never
yeah,
happened. So, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I guess that everybody can't be a Linus Baker, as they said over and over, but like you can be something else though. You can be something
Sure.
that
Yeah.
is anti, not just fair like Linus was, like actually anti, and then come across as, to the other side, which I thought would have been great because I think in real life, right, like there's people who like grow up in a certain community or grow up like being made to like feel less than, and now you have an
Yeah.
opportunity for power, and then that puts you in a position where you like press down other people, you
Mhm.
know, but then you can realize that that's not the way to be. Like I was hoping for her. So
Yeah. I also was hoping that she was going to change by the end of the book. I kind of want like a 10 years in the future situation where
yeah,
we can see where everyone ends up, because like I want to know what happens with Lucy. I
yeah,
want to know, like, he seems like he's on the right path, and I'm like, well, is he gonna stay on the right path? Like, what happens to the teenage Antichrist?
yeah. I mean, his dad was once an angel,
Yeah,
like
like the potential is there. So
yeah,
like I'm very curious. Like I want to know what happens later. I kind of hope he comes back and does something like that, just so I can have some resolution there.
yeah. No, I love all those comparative mythologies where they compare like
Mhm.
Lucifer to Prometheus and this idea of like, just wanted to like give something to humanity, and for
Mhm.
that he was punished. If similarities there, then maybe, this willingness to accept the foibles of people. So
Mm. Yeah, I think that would be
there's
really cool though if we could get some sort of a like down the road sequel. That would be
yeah, I
neat.
loved all of Lucy's opportunities to like be himself in this one though.
Yeah, I did
It's a
too. I
lot of fun.
really liked seeing his character develop over the two books. I think Talia is still like my favorite of the kids.
Mhm.
I really enjoy her. I think she's so fun. She
The
reminds me so
conversation about the beard.
much. Yes. Oh my gosh. The you have to cut your beard. And I was just like,
Yeah.
you don't say that to a gnome.
Yeah. Who doesn't know that? No.
Like,
No. That was a great conversation. And then Lucy, like, sticking up for her.
mhm.
I mean, there were a lot of things that I liked about this book, and those were the same things I liked about the first book, you know?
Mhm.
But I just didn't feel like my overall expectation. But I do think, I mean, if he wrote a prequel about almost everybody's past, then I would be totally invested. So
I think my biggest complaint about both books, honestly, is how long the chapters are. Because I'm the kind of person that, like, if I start a chapter, I want to finish that chapter. I don't want to stop in the middle. And I'd start a chapter and it's like, oh my God, this chapter is 64 minutes long. Like, what do you mean?
I got really confused actually when I was listening to the audiobook, because I was like, sometimes, you know, you lose your place because of whatever. I had to switch over from Spotify to Audible at some point, and I was like, like, now I have no idea where I am, because I thought I was, you know, because normally you can just go to the middle of the chapter. I think I was in the middle. Nope. You're like, I have no idea where I was. I did not like the audio for this one. Did you listen to it? Or
I did listen to it. I agree.
It's the same narrator.
It was the same narrator, and it was weird because it didn't feel like it was the same narrator.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
I mean, I liked his voices for the original characters. Yeah, like, and his narrative bits, like, you know, where there was just description and stuff. But some of the voices he was doing and some of the emotion that was inflected into the words, I was like, this seems a little bit, I don't know.
There was some weird scenes, like when something was happening with some action, he would like almost be shouting it at me.
Yeah.
Why are we yelling?
Exactly. I was like, you know, like sometimes when you're reading aloud to the kids or whatever, and you get really into it. Sometimes I tease my kids with books that I find very like whatever, and they're like meh about, and I like interject like some Shakespearean drama into my reading. So it was a little bit like what's happening right now.
Yeah, it was a little bit odd. It was not my favorite audiobook experience. I kept having to slow it back down when he would do that, because I was just like, I don't know why this is so frantic.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it was, I think I just expected a lot that I didn't have. But maybe it's being set up for maybe he is going to write a prequel, you know? So.
I don't know, maybe. I think too, like, I always have like very high expectations for any book that I read from an author I've enjoyed before. So I'm just like, everything's going to be as good as this. And it never works out that, like, Marcus
and I was very close
is a good
to
example of that. The Book Thief is like my favorite book, but I have hated everything else he's written.
Oh, really? I've only ever read The Book Thief.
I read The Messenger and despised it. I was just like, what is this? It was not good. And then I bought, what is it, Bridge of Clay or something, and I started it and I was like, I'm going to stop before I get any further because I know I'm not going to like this.
My heart can't take it. No.
So, yeah, I'm like, I can't have another disappointment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes an author peaks.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I honestly thought this was
pretty consistent.
I thought this was well written.
Yeah, I've read 3 of his books now. Because I read both of the Cerulean Sea books, and I read what is it called? I can't think of it now. It's something to do with death. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like the afterlife.
I was surprised to learn of the controversy. Was it Wolfsong or no?
No, hold on. I have the book. I don't know why I didn't just open this book and look, because it's sitting right next to me. And I know
The Bones Beneath My Skin, or Under the Whispering Door.
Oh, Under the Whispering Door. That's the one. Okay. Yeah, that one was really good.
I do.
That's about
the artist that he works with for his covers.
Yeah, his books are also whimsical.
They're beautiful. Yeah. They're lovely.
I think I own In the Lives of Puppets, but I haven't read that one yet. I mean, I own most books because I think Sarah has Wolfsong and something else in her room, and she left them for me. I was like, I get to claim anything you leave behind.
Obviously. I saw your meme today about that bookshelf, the curving.
Oh, isn't that pretty?
Staircase.
Oh my gosh. I need that.
I mean, what size this is. Yeah.
I need a house that fits that in it. We can't really do a ladder with my shelves, but oh my gosh, I would still love one.
I know. That's the dream. I mean, yeah. A curving wall. That just takes it to another level.
Mm-hmm. Very magical. Like the Beauty and the Beast library.
The collective gasp that all the bookworms gave when we saw that movie for the first time. But no. I mean, I would definitely read his other books. You know, like it wasn't one of those books where I was like, what is this? But it was just
yeah.
No, I mean,
I think what you're saying is valid. Like there was a lot that they could have done to add to this and develop some things and whatnot. So I can see it. I would like a prequel. I think that would be really interesting. Although I could also see how it could be really sad because everything he talks about is very traumatic. So I can kind of see maybe he doesn't want to delve too much into that, but I would still read it.
Well, apparently there was this controversy about his, because I was just reading a little bit more about him after I read the first one. And I think there's this controversy with the some Native American communities because he was inspired. He said that he was inspired by the stories of the, those orphanages or schools.
Yeah, I think I've heard
that were created. Yeah, for the Native American children in Canada. Right, and all of the abuse that went on there, and how that gave him this inkling of an idea for like a orphanage type of system for magical kids. And I don't know, like I didn't really delve into it too deeply, but I think that idea of like inspiration belonging to a culture, like inspiration from something that is so particular to a culture becoming something else, I think there's a lot of room for I don't know, nuance there. I'm sure there's instances where it's done badly, but here I don't think it is. Like here I think it's the seed of an idea that's actually
I agree. Yeah.
But I mean, obviously every indigenous community or whatever community the idea comes from has the right to have their own feelings about it, you know. But in my view, I think he did it very respectfully. Like even if that was the original idea, I think it's very much with the intent to show that that's wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he did it in a respectful way. Because like, just an example, I've seen a lot of controversy about some books that have golems in them. And that's like a Jewish mythology thing. And like, I've seen it done well, and I've seen it done really poorly. So like, I can definitely understand the nuance that goes into it. And like, did you do your research? Did you learn more about this? And, create something that was in the right intention.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only book I've really read about golems is The Golem and the Genie. The Genie and the Golem. Have you read that one?
I have, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I liked it. I thought it was very interesting, like very cross-cultural.
It's a fascinating book. Yeah.
I used to annoy my mother when I was younger because in the original translation, John always refers to men, women, and jinn. And so I would always like tell her, well, you know, I'm just believing things I'm supposed to believe in. She would always get annoyed. And I was like, any moment now, I'm gonna rub a lamp. It's gonna be great. So, but yeah. I mean, I still hold out hope. Let's be honest.
I used to annoy my mom. I still do. Like, 'cause she doesn't like the more mystical parts of Judaism. She feels like uncomfortable about it. And I'm like, golems could be real. Have you made one? You don't, have you tried? Like, she's like, Emily, not real. You can't do that.
My favorite class in college that I took was Jewish mysticism. And it was taught by a rabbi, a lovely, lovely man. Like he was such a nice, like he was exactly what you would imagine. Like a rabbi who was but very into Jewish mysticism. Like he had this long beard and like was spry. And like I loved him so much. It was like a class between, it's like 20 kids, but it was like me and him. And like super enthusiasm. And everyone else was like, what is happening?
Oh my gosh, I would love to take a class like that. I was always fascinated with Jewish mysticism and I wanted to learn more about it. And my mom was like, you shouldn't delve into that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my
It's
mom would say
dangerous.
about Islamic mysticism. She was like, no, let's stay firmly grounded in the daily routine. I was like, but why? So, no.
We crave
I
whimsy.
Yeah, I think it's
Mhm.
fascinating that so many traditions have like, no matter how mystical the religion, there's an always more mystical branch. Like the people
Gosh,
who are like,
really, it's true. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, we're gonna go all the way. Like, so, no, that's great. But I mean, I think, I loved all the Phoenix bits of this book, talking about mysticism. Like,
Yes, I did too. I really enjoy the concept of the phoenix. So I really
mhm,
enjoyed all of that, like
yeah,
seeing him flying around and
and
embracing
exploding,
Phoenix and
like, when
exploding.
he had that
So
real,
fun. Yes.
that was so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like everyone saw it, knew what happened, like Linus came and found him, like that whole concept.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Frank. Frank might have been one of
Yes.
my favorite parts of this
Oh,
book.
yes.
I loved
Oh my
Frank.
gosh. That was so fun.
Yeah. I'm gonna need a fish named Frank. I'm a
Yes.
big fan of like people names, right? So George and Frank. No, it would be great.
I love that Frank was just a regular little fish. Like,
Yeah. No, you had
yeah.
this very emotional scene and he like has all those feelings, the Phoenix birds, and it's like, oh, there's Frank saving my life. No. There was beautiful bits of this book, for certain. I think he set me up for so much emotion in the
Mhm.
ordinary in the first one, because the first one had so many ordinary moments. Yes, they're
Yeah.
magical, but so many ordinary moments between like a parent and a child, and like
Mhm.
someone who's learning to love people and learning to love himself and children. And I think I expected a little more of that. It all seemed a little bit too resolved in that way to me. The kids seemed very firmly
Yeah.
like in a we know exactly who we are now kind of thing, which is great. But I do think that there would be more tension with a new kid. I think there'd be more tension, even like with their dads getting married and stuff. Just questions about what might happen. Like how that might change the
Mhm.
dynamic. I loved Sal's character development. Like I thought he like definitely like grew into himself. I
Yeah.
love that he's a Pomeranian when he's a dog.
Yes, he's just a little guy.
Like there are so many little decisions he's made here that I think are perfect.
Yeah,
Like,
I really love David being theatrical in his little
mhm.
noir dramas that he would put on.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
And
I was loving it so much.
that's the way he thought he should meet his like potential new parents. It's like,
Yes, he was auditioning for them, and I just thought that was so
yeah,
adorable.
yeah. I
And
will
all the stuff with
demonstrate
him
to you.
being a 47-year-old man.
Yes. I will come down later and talk to you about my tax returns or whatever. Like my stock options. It's
Yes.
like, yeah, so that was great. And then the way they totally pretended it hadn't happened, that was also fun. They
Hmm.
were like, what? No. Who
What do
would
you
believe
mean?
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is obviously a child. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was great. Yeah, but Miss Marble Ball definitely was showing signs of like having a different character arc, and then it just disappeared.
Yeah.
You know.
I
So
agree. I feel like there was meant to be something. Like the fact that he had that scene
mhm.
with her like having some indecision about it felt like he intended to have her
Yeah,
have her moment, and then it, for whatever reason, didn't
I
happen.
thought she would be a hidden magical person, like for a while.
Yes, when she said she didn't feel fear, and I was like,
Yes, me
because
too.
why? Are you mad?
Yeah,
What is your magical
exactly.
thing that you can't feel fear?
I thought
So
it would
I
be
kept
something.
waiting for something, and nothing
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, and that was just. I think that would have been great though. I think she was really set up to be a character who like stays that like grouchy, judgy person, but who like loves them in spite of it. I
Yeah.
thought that they would make her not another Linus Baker, but just someone who, you know, sort of was redeemed by them,
Hmm.
by how charming the children were, especially when she was handing out all those points.
Right.
Like,
Like, what was the point of that?
yeah, like
I
when Sal or Theo saves her from that fly and stuff. And she was just like 3 courtesy points or whatever. I was like, yes, see, you're seeing it. Like, you're seeing how like lovable they are. Then they kept talking about killing her with kindness, but then I didn't see them being like kind to her. You know?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, she's hard to be kind to.
Yeah.
So I can see that, but also, yeah, I felt like I wanted a little bit more from that.
Yeah. She would have been a good character if I was writing this book, TJ Klune. She would have been a good character to like stay grouchy, to stay difficult and prickly and all of these things, but to also like, you know, be beloved and like come out of her like thing because she was like beloved somehow, you know, that you could love like prickly things. Yeah. So I feel like you can love prickly things. We all love prickly people, you know, like they're not like all just the best, always saying the right parenting thing, you know. Like she could have been another parent eventually to them that was like, you know, more harried. Like the harried parent, the one who was like, oh my goodness, is that mud that you've dragged through the house? So,
Yeah.
and
I did like to when the children start calling them dad.
yeah,
like that was just very
Papa. Yeah,
sweet. I liked that.
and that they left space.
It's very heartwarming. Yeah.
Yeah, they left space in the picture frame thing, the picture thing that they made.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Fee was like irritated by the space at the bottom. I related very much to that. Like, are we going to get the show on the road? Because
yes,
the asymmetry of the thing is like starting to get to me. No, but no, I very much did like, even though it was preachy, the whole idea that they already are living the lives that they could live potentially as adults. You know, like they already are appreciated beyond the island. They already are, you know, appreciated for their skills, like their gardening and their and their bellhopping and all that.
I loved that message. I really, because like there were so many times when they were like, you can't do that though. And it's like, but they are doing that. Like,
yeah.
Chauncey is already a bellhop. What do you mean he can't do that? Like,
yeah.
I really loved that because I think that's like a really important message.
Yeah.
And
Chauncey is a whole thing. Like I feel like I need Chauncey merch.
I think they have a little Chauncey
like a stuffy.
Yeah,
oh, I love it.
I saw that at Barnes and Noble and I almost bought it.
yeah, Chauncey's worth having.
I don't need any more stuffies, but yeah, he's very cute.
I always tell my daughter that, but then I buy her thrifted stuffies. I bought her an otter the other. I was like, oh my goodness, this is a very nice otter. It's a very high quality. That's my excuse. I was like, this is very, very nice.
Like every time we buy a stuffy, it multiplies somehow. We have so many in our house, and every time we get rid of some, they seem to come back. I don't know. I can't get rid of them.
I bought Leah some ottoman covers. So the stuffies that are not currently in rotation get stuffed into a little ottoman.
We have a big like beanbag chair thing I bought that you can stuff it with stuff, and we have that. And that holds about half.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad in her room too. All the other kids have gone over it, but even my eldest keeps one basket of like stuffies. It's like, you know, one of those little 13 by 13 by 13 bins like in his bookshelf. But he's like, no, they are still, because you know we do these periodic donations, and I'm like, you're still keeping all these? He's like, yeah. It's like, that's fine. It's like, do you ever take them out?
They have a home. Yeah,
exactly. They're all together with each other. So. No. Apparently, I saw some meme. I love memes and how we're like, this is an authoritative fact. But like, all the ones that I like, I'm like, this is now a fact in my fact file. But apparently, adults who have kept like a childhood stuffy are like more emotionally well-adjusted than people who have no stuffies from their childhood.
I say that's true.
Yeah, obviously. That seems to track. I don't even know that they needed a study. Like, no. Yeah, I took a stuffy to college. I had no shame. Yeah.
I still have my little dog, whose name is Book, that I've had since I was 2. His head flops. His neck doesn't work anymore. And he only has one eye. But he used to protect me from the demons.
He's real. Yeah, he has become real, as the skin horse said. No, I have one from when I was 8. And I still remember who gave it to me. So thank you, Allison Quater. From like 2nd grade or 3rd grade. Yeah. But yeah, Poochie. It was like one of those really cheap bears, you know, like from like a gift store bear, but went with me everywhere. So came to college, you know. So I could use a Chauncey though. Little eyes.
Noble. He's just a little guy.
Transparent body. Yeah. Maybe like a little hanging Chauncey, like from the rear view mirror. That would be good.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Like a color changing Chauncey. But that was squishy. I have many ideas.
I was just thinking I would love like little like Christmas tree ornaments of all the kids.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really cute.
That would be awesome. See, we're full of ideas. Somebody should be listening to us on their marketing team. Somebody would totally buy that. Can you imagine? It's like a little like collection.
It would be so fun. I would love to have that. Like, yes.
Yeah. The Phoenix and like, you know, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Could even have like some sort of color thing like above them, like a lit thing with their colors at the end, you know, where they're like Care Bears and they do the whole like island renewal.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I also love that bit where Linus had all the colors.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like a rainbow of like goodness. So, no, that's great. Yippee. I know. I love the characters. It's a beautiful little world.
It is. I like how cozy it feels, how familiar it feels. It just feels like a place you could really go. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a little vacation town. And visit. No. It was very good. This is just me being like, I want to bring in more like violence and chaos. Like I would have appreciated something else happening to like them at the end, like at that final showdown. Like instead of just being like, you know, disappeared or like teleported away, it would have been good. So I liked how they made the new head of Daikami, you know. That was a nice little touch.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Hiding. Yeah. Yeah. It was just one of those things. Having lots of expectations, you know, being very invested very recently in something is always setting yourself up for, because, you know, like if I had read it like a year ago or like 2 years ago or whatever, then come back in, I think just the charm of being back in the world would have done a lot to like boost my, you know, thing. But I was very recently out of the first one.
I reread The House on the Cerulean Sea with Regina. We did it as a read aloud. She didn't like it.
Oh, really?
She doesn't like anything that other people already like. It's a whole
thing. I was like that for a long time. Yeah.
So like
I'm still a little bit like that. Like I have this rejection. I was surprised.
I do that too, to a point. Like if a book is really popular, I will not read it because I'm going to dislike it.
Yeah, I do the same thing. There's something in it, like it makes me feel like a certain kind of way. I don't know. That's entirely healthy. I think it's really great when people are like, oh, like you think this is an amazing book? Like not just one person, like everybody. Like I'm going to go into it and I'm probably going to think it's an amazing book. I never think that. I'm like, why do you think this is an amazing? Like I have this.
Yeah, I've never read anything by Sarah J. Maas. And I know she's like beloved and everyone loves her. I can't. I don't know. I think I'm just like, I don't want to read it.
I think that there's a lot that you could totally skip. I think there's some books of hers that are actually very good. But, you know.
I think we own, I don't know if we still own, we owned at one point Throne of Glass, I think.
Yeah.
The last time I saw it, it was in Sarah's room. I don't know if she got rid of it or not, but I've never read it. I don't think Sarah read it either. I don't know why
The
we have
first
it.
one, that series is fun. It's just fun. Like, it's popcorn reading, but like the first one is not that great. And it feels like you were a different age when you wrote that book from the other ones, was just the case, you know? But that series is fun. I mean, nothing that will linger with you forever, but it has really cool characters and stuff. Her other series, the, like, you know, the Court of Akatar, a court of
is it Thorns? Thorns and
Roses. Yeah, I can never remember the order of the words of all of these, you know, the fantasy
that's
mixer
the one
of
that
titles.
I'm just like, I will not read that because
No.
I have this like deep feeling that I'm going to hate it, and I don't want to read it.
I mean, I'm going to go out on a very short limb and be like, yeah, I think you'd hate it. I thought that book I was like, what is happening right now? Like, I am, like, from the very beginning, like from the opening, I was definitely like, what? This is the book that has brought everyone back to reading. No.
Yeah, I have a strong feeling that I won't like it. So I'm like, no.
You know what you should, if you read a Sarah J. Maas, I'm going to say, you should read Crescent City. Not the series, because the series sucks. Just the first one. Read it like a standalone. Like,
okay.
The first
the
one
other author that I'm afraid to read is, what is his name? Brandon Sanderson. I've own Mistborn, and I've never read it.
Yeah, I have
Mistborn on my talks list. About him, I'm like, I don't think it's for me. Yeah. I don't know.
I think I will try Mistborn. It's on my list of things to do. But yes, I have a lot of, you know, I do like that he has his courses on fantasy writing up for free, like on the internet or whatever. I think that's really generous and kind. But yeah, I have not read him either. I mean, everyone says you should start with Mistborn, right? So,
we own it. I bought the box set a million years ago. I don't know what possessed me to buy it because I'm not really a big fantasy reader, but we bought it, and I gave them to Sarah, and she said she was going to read it, and I don't think she ever did. And now I'm not sure if we still even have them. But
another one that like everyone said everyone should read is Priory of the Orange Tree, and I DNF that. I very rarely DNF.
Loved that book, and she's been trying to convince me to read it, and I'm like, that is a giant book and it's fantasy, and I just feel in my bones that it isn't for me.
I DNF'd it. I was like, I can't with any of these people. I need to feel it. I like fantasy. I mean, I don't mind it at all. I need to feel connected to someone in this whole host of characters very quickly. Otherwise, and I just wasn't. It was getting so complicated, and I was like, this is requiring so much mental effort on my part. I don't care about any of you.
Yeah, that's my struggle with fantasy is like, I can do it if it's set in our world, but when you start like creating a whole different like universe for your story, and I have to learn all these different weird names and places and a magic system, and it's too much. Like I can't get it all to make sense, and it takes too long for me to figure it out, and then I just DNF.
Okay, well, it's good that Sarah recommends it. I mean, like, whenever I hear like someone reasonable recommend something, I'm like, okay, maybe I will go back to it. But
Sarah loved Priory, and I was just like, are you sure? I don't think it's for me.
Are you sure?
Well, because she kept telling me I would like it, and I was like, I don't think so. I don't know.
It's a very
good book.
I was listening to it. I don't have a paper copy of it.
I don't think we own a physical. I think she read it as an ebook.
And
I do think I own the ebook because it was on sale for like 99 cents or something, and she convinced me to buy it.
Yeah,
I heard her, but I don't think I'm ever going to read it.
Maybe I have to get. Sometimes you have to get to page like 500 before you like fall into it. I don't know, but I got to like, I got pretty far in, and I was like, nope. There was even this like big climactic scene, sort of, and I was like, no, I still don't care. Like I still don't. So that happened.
That was me reading the first Wheel of Time book. I got like halfway through and just went, never mind, this is not for me. I don't care.
Yeah. I read the whole first one, and I was like, that was when I was much younger, and I was like, no, this is not for me. But I like my fantasy to be, I don't know, very character driven. Like I need I need people to root for. I can't just have like this big giant political whatever, you know? And also, you know how like fantasy authors will take like a political thing from the past, like rewrite it.
Yeah. Like Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes when you know how these things are going to play out a little bit anyway, you're like, okay, everyone can see the writing on the wall, right? Like,
yeah.
But anyway, and so much of it is based off of like the War of the Roses and stuff in fantasy.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Everyone writes about that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got everything. It's got the intermarriage. It's got got all the plotting and the sibling rivalry and, you know, every single side you can think of, like regicide, fratricide.
It's very juicy history. There's so much to work with. Yeah.
Everyone's related to everyone. Yeah. There's missing people, you know, like the boys in the tower.
Yes.
It's got everything. No. I still haven't read Wolf Hall.
Like, I tried to read Wolf Hall and I DNF'd it because the author doesn't use quotation marks.
Oh.
And everything is he said, and I'm like, they're all he. Who is he?
Okay.
And
that's interesting.
Really frustrated. Like, I don't know. I don't always appreciate when authors are like, I'm going to be pretentious.
Yeah. I'm going to write this like a monk.
I'm like, I think quotation marks are a necessity. Thank you. And I don't appreciate not having them.
Do they put them in italics or anything? Does anything?
Oh, I don't remember now. I don't remember. Yeah. It's been too long. But like, I just remember being so confused because it was just like so much he said. And I'm like, who though? There was like 3 men in the room. You can't do that.
Which one is talking? Yeah.
I just felt very confused. And I'm like, I read so much Tudor stuff. There's no reason for this.
Yeah. Have you, are you on TikTok at all? Not yet, right?
Yeah, I finally did download it. I'm on TikTok, but just barely.
I've been listening to Viola Swamp on TikTok. If anybody's watching this and you're into Tudor stuff, you should follow. I know, you know, TikTok. Yeah. If you like Tudor stuff and you're on TikTok, you should look up Viola Swamp because her stuff on like just going into depth on Tudor stuff, and everybody has their own take on every single character in Tudor history. So it's not like I, you know, completely there for everything she says, but it's so interesting because she delves into like all of these little like relation letters and things and just blabs. And you can tell she's just somebody who's like so deeply invested in it that she has like very, you know, authoritative views. It's super fun to listen to. And even when you disagree and stuff, it's just fun because it's somebody who's like actually has the receipts, you know, so even if you were going to counter her opinion, it's like talking to an intelligent person about it in your head, which is what I like on TikTok.
I love hearing all the different like theories and ideas on like who did what and why did this happen the way it did and what was she really like and all of that. Like I find that all very fascinating.
Yeah. She's very good at aligning timelines between what was happening in other countries at the same time as these characters. So it's a lot of fun. So long form, but I like it. You know, for what TikTok is. I mean, much longer than most people. So
I had a big Tudor phase in my like 20s. Like maybe into my teens too, because I think it started with Lady Jane. But yeah, that's the movie that I think got a lot of us into the Tudors.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it's weird that that's the one that got us in because like there's so many things wrong with how they did that story. But you're so invested.
That's the thing that got me invested in like historical fiction and like researching everything because I was so mad when I found out how wrong it was. I was like, but I want them to be in love. What do you mean?
Yeah, and I want her to be super politically invested in all these decisions. Don't want her to be just someone who like found themselves in a very tough spot. But
her story is so tragic. Yeah.
It really is. It's so heartbreaking. It's so much more heartbreaking than the movie. Like in that way, you know, like so but why couldn't they have just fallen in love and had like this shining few months or whatever of like thinking it was all going to be different. So, what a great movie.
I still watch it, and I'm like, this is still great. Like, you'll never convince me that this isn't like the best movie.
It was a great movie. Yeah, it definitely was a gateway for sure. Yeah. So, for every like, you know, ornery, prickly, nerdish girl, that's like the dream. No, it's great. What is up next for us?
Oh, I have it over here. We are reading The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. I'm really excited about this one because I bought it ages ago because I kept seeing people talk about it and how amazing it is, and I haven't had a chance to read it yet. So really looking forward to reading this later this month. Don't ask me what it's about, though, because I cannot for the life of me describe it.
It got added to my TBR so long ago that I also can't remember anything about it.
I'm like, I know that it has to do with like a community of African Americans and Jewish immigrants. And that's really all I got. But that's all I
love stories about different people from different cultures, like interacting and like, you know, because I feel like, I don't know, especially in the climate that we're in today, like, there's so much goodness too in people, you know?
Yeah.
Like I always try to tell my kids, like even when we taught stranger danger and stuff, I was always like, you know, like most people are great people. Like most people want to help you. Like if you're in trouble, they want to help you. Like I think that's so, I don't know. I feel like nowadays it's so easy to like feel like that's not true.
Yeah.
But
I think with all the news and media and everything, we're primed to be afraid of everybody. And like, yeah, I love reading immigrant stories specifically because we're all immigrants, and I like learning more about different cultures, and I like learning about how people ended up where they ended up. And I just find it all really interesting.
Yeah, and in spite of like
different, but we're still all the same.
Yeah, like the reasons we create our different mythologies and stories and even cultural customs, like so many of the reasons are the same. You know, like even if the details of how it comes out is different, like it's very interesting, you know. So in the end, this whole idea of being like social primates and like needing to feel connected to something and also being big brained enough to like interconnect with other groups, I think is so much of what makes us who we are, you know.
Yeah.
So I need to be reminded of those things like in this day and age.
We all do.
Yeah.
Especially right now. I feel like we all need to be reading more about different cultures and different ways of being human.
Yeah.
Reminding ourselves that we are not the center of the universe.
Yeah. We're a blip on this pale blue dot. All right.
We should probably decide really quick. The first Saturday in August is the 2nd. Does that work for you, or do you want to push it to the 9th?
I think the 2nd should be fine. We don't have any travel plans, so Lou, yeah. Right now I don't see anything.
Okay.
If anything pops up, I will let you know early.
Okay, so we should be discussing the Heaven and Earth Grocery Store on August 2nd. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't we go ahead and end today's discussion. Thanks so much for hanging out and talking with me. I always have so much fun at book clubs. I don't know. I love being able to talk to somebody about what I'm reading.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think especially as somebody who reads as much as you do,
it's always so isolating, and I'm like, I really want to talk to people about what I'm reading.
Yeah, it like puts a pin in it in time, I think, to hear somebody else's ideas on it.
Yeah. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you guys next month for our next discussion. Happy reading. Bye.
Happy reading.